Welcome to a little bit of Calm and Crazy. Today it is all about blue. I am using upcycle, thrifted, flipped, whatever you want to call it. I am breathing new life into some old pieces and using the color blue. Today's video is actually in collaboration with 7 other women here on YouTube. It is a rainbow collaboration and I was assigned the color blue. This was all put together by Kat from According to Kat. And if you want to see the other beautiful colors and combinations, make sure that you check out the playlist below. If you're coming over from anyone else's channel, hello and welcome. My name is Jennifer. I love sharing easy DIYs and home decor. And if that sounds good to you, make sure that you hit that subscribe button. And let's go ahead and jump right on into these blue projects. So here I have this 10. It was $1.50. I found it at a thrift store. I absolutely love the design, but it is getting lost because of the dark color. So to lighten it up and give a little bit more contrast, I'm going in with Kilt's Blue Jupiter. I picked this up at Walmart. I fell in love with this color when I painted these candlesticks with it. It is absolutely a gorgeous blue. I'm making sure that I'm giving it a really good solid coat all around the front as well as the sides. Once I've done that, I do set it aside to dry, but right before it is completely dried, I'm going in with a damp cloth. You could also use like a damp paper towel, whatever you want, just something that's a little bit wet. And I am doing what's called wet distressing. So I'm doing this instead of using a sandpaper for a couple of reasons. One, I don't want to scratch the metal. And this, as you can see, works just as well. It's a little bit less messy. So I'm just going in and I'm rubbing some of that paint off in the areas that I want to distress and bring that warmth back from the brown and just add in more of that dimension. Now, it really does work better if it's just right on that cusp of too dry, if that makes sense. Like you don't want it like caked on, set hard and solid. You don't want to come back 2 days later to do this because then it has really like set, cured. You really want to do this fairly quickly and it will work really well. The last step is to take a wax to seal it. So this is from Behr. It looks like a fluffy frosting and you're just gonna buff it all over. This is a white wax. I could honestly have used a clear wax. You don't even notice it. If you wanted a difference, I could have used a darker wax like I did on those candlesticks. I will link that video at the end of this video as well as in the description box for you to check that out. But once you get the wax on there, you go in with a clean, lint-free cloth to buff off any of the extra wax. And there you have it. I absolutely love this. I think it's a great piece when I'm styling like different decor. It's a great layering piece. This is just one of those pieces. It's so versatile and so easy to just use in the backdrop. And it goes with so many different like styles and colors. I know I'm gonna get a lot of use out of it. I have a slight obsession for cake stands. I love them as layering pieces when I decorate. I also like to host parties, maybe not currently, but sometimes I like to host parties. And this beautiful piece was originally $3.99, but it was on sale, so I got it for just $2 and I could not resist that. Now it is hard to see all of the details. They're getting lost. There's like these little musical details. There's this gold around it. And I knew that if I went in with just a little bit of color, some of that would pop. So I'm going in with this Rust-Oleum Ultra Matte. This is in True Navy. I took it outside to spray it. This is my spray tint. I get questions about it all the time. I'll have it linked below if you're interested in it. But I gave it a couple of good coats, but I only sprayed underneath, like the stem of it and the underneath coat. I did not spray the top of it. And the reason is if I wanted to serve food on it, guess what? I still can because it is still completely paint-free on top. Cake stands are a great way to add height while you're decorating so that not everything is flat and you don't just have to use it in the kitchen. I absolutely love the way that it looks right here in my bedroom. For this project, I am starting off with these butterflies that I picked up at the Dollar Tree. I'm going to remove the top of the butterfly, which is just kind of paper clipped in. That's the best way to explain it. From the butterfly, they come off super easily. And then I want to remove the corrugated from the S clip or the S whatever you want to call that. Now, this is actually welded on and takes a little bit more effort. And so I just kind of went in and tried to loosen it up and tried to wiggle the butterfly as carefully as I could so that I wouldn't ruin the butterfly until I could wiggle that S around and move it back and forth. I will tell you, every single time it did it, it left me a little hole where it was welded, but I was okay with that because I knew the hole for the most part would be covered up and then you wouldn't notice that. So it takes a tiny bit of patience, but honestly, it wasn't really that hard. As you can see, I just went back and forth with different tools, wiggling, taking my time, really keeping that butterfly flat on the ground as much as possible so that I wouldn't damage the butterfly in the process of trying to get that S off. After that, I took the tops of the butterflies outside and I am giving them a good coat of Rust-Oleum's Ultra Matte in the True Blue. Now, what's fantastic about this project is that you can make the butterflies match your decor and spray paint them or paint them whatever color you want. So while my butterflies are drying, I am working on the next part of my project, which is actually a cabinet door that I picked up for $2 at Habitat for Humanity's Restore. I love shopping at thrift stores that give back to the community. So first I have to remove the hinges and then I'm giving it a good scrub down because this thing was gunky and dirty. You could tell that it was probably in somebody's kitchen next to their stove. It was pretty gross. I made sure that the door was completely dry and then I went in with my sander to give it a nice sanding. And I wasn't sure exactly what I was going to find as I was sanding. I knew that I wanted to get that orange coating off, or at least the glossy coating off. And I was hoping for a really good canvas to at least start with, but I didn't expect to love what I found. Also, I originally thought I was going to use the front of the door as my sign, and instead I ended up loving the back better. And that is so fun about projects like this, is sometimes as you're going, you change your mind because it ends up turning out that something else works out better, or you end up loving something better, and you just go with the flow. So I used my Cricut to cut the words "spread your wings and fly," but I cut off the S on wings, and I wanted to show you how I'm fixing it without having to recut the whole thing because I didn't want to waste vinyl, but I know it's so frustrating when things like this happen. So I went ahead and I cut an extra S and I'm laying it right on top, leaving just a little extra of the backing so that it can stick down onto the sticky mat. And then when I go to add my transfer paper, I will completely cover the entire thing, making sure that I pick up that S along with everything else. And it was like I never made a mistake in the first place. I placed "Spread Your Wings and Fly" on the bottom half of the sign. I used a quilting ruler in order to try and help me keep it nice and straight. To be honest, this would be a really good trick, but I somehow found a way to still make it a little bit slanted. Hopefully, if you choose to recreate this, you can do a slightly better job than I did, but that's okay. I still love the way that it turned out. The butterflies turned out really pretty and they were so easy to put back together, just kind of that same paper clipping thing. They have the 2 holes on the corrugated part that you just stick the little metal parts through and just bend them over to hold them on. After that, I went in with some liquid nails and trying to see if this would work to hold it. It has a really long cure time and I have very little patience. And so I went ahead and decided to use my good old E6000. I live in Texas. Hot glue is not gonna cut it outside. I need something that can not melt. So E6000 did the job. Now, you do wanna make sure that you have a nice contact. So you can go ahead and like tape it down, or in my case, I added some paint cans on top of my butterflies while it set up and dried. And once it was completely set up and dried, then I was good to go, and I put this right outside in a window on my porch. You guys, this window actually leads to a bathroom, and my kids like to open up the blinds, and I don't want guests to feel like they have no privacy. So this sign actually is twofold. Not only is it cute on the outside, but it will give my guest a sense of privacy while they are on the inside. That's our secret. Don't tell anybody. If you are following the rainbow, up next is Indigo with Casey from Coffee with My Sunshine. You will find links in the description box below. Thank you so much for spending your time with me. I'll catch you in the next video. Bye!